hey, 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 it's your Jamaican girl. What's good? What's happening? My side. Back again on another episode. And this episode, we're going to be talking about sex and sexuality in the Caribbean. And with me today is the lovely Kyleigh Cayetno from the Garifuna Sistas Talk Spirituality podcast. You can find them at Garifuna Sistas Podcast on Instagram. And where again? Just Instagram.
Just Instagram and Facebook.
And Facebook. There we go. Welcome, Kyleigh.
Thank you. Yay. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Hi.
Thank you for coming. All right, so we're getting into it. We're getting into it. So Kyleigh, I know that you grew up like in a myriad of places because you traveled a lot with your family. I think you're in Trinidad, Jamaica, America, and Belize.
No, America. Just the three Caribbean places. So Belize, Jamaica, Trinidad, back to Jamaica.
I see. Okay, so I want to ask you, because you've been around the Caribbean, right? I've been in Jamaica, and I know my experience, which I'll talk about in a second. But I want to know, were you ever taught about sex education in any of your schools while you were going there? In any of those places?
No. In school?
Yeah.
No.
So
they had, actually, in high school. Okay, I went to 3 different high schools in Trinidad, so I think I can tackle this question, right? There was a class. It wasn't necessarily a sex ed class. It was like personal development class.
Interesting.
And there were a couple sessions, because I forgot, when you first asked the question, I was like, nah. But then I started to think about it, and I remembered those PD classes. I remember having a class on, like, they had the teacher that was assigned that class talk to us about the different types of love. So like romantic love, and then friendship love, and then all of that. And then other than that, that was the only kind of dip toe in that kind of conversation that I recall. If there was any other, I may have blocked it from my memory entirely. So I just remember being taught about abstinence and like waiting till marriage. That was about it, because our Caribbean societies are extremely conservative.
Extremely. And people don't know this, Actually, people aren't aware of this, because I think we have carnival and thing there because we just skimpy and we parade around the streets and things say, oh, we loose and things. Kids to them don't know that there's a church every square mile.
Everywhere.
Literally. Everywhere. There's a church. Every corner you go, there's a church there. We are a very, very conservative society. And we didn't have sex education in school at all in Jamaica, at all. Like, what we had was this very broad term, guidance counseling. And they would teach you that, this is a male reproductive system. This is a female reproductive system. They come together and they procreate and give life. How? And then they jump and go, abstain from sex. Here's some condoms.
They're skipping parts.
And then we would all just laugh because we're just like, what? We don't how we get here? What do you mean abstain? Abstain from what? What is sex? I don't know. I'm not aware of what sexual intercourse really is. What is coitus? Tell me. I don't understand.
What is coitus? I remember I took biology in Form 1, and I remember reading it in the textbook, like just in biological terms,
insert the P into the V and
right, and then baby comes, and I'm like, oh, like I remember reading it and thinking, but how? Like, what do you mean? Because I'm 12,
exactly,
and I don't. I'm like, what do you mean? Guys can what?
Bruh. Were you talking about sex at home?
No.
Me neither. I remember the first time we ever spoke about sex in any sort of sense, right? I was about 14. I just got my period, right? My mother goes to me.
14?
14, yeah. I was a late bloomer. I'm still going through puberty to this day. My childbearing hips just showed up the other day. So... So, late bloomer, it's totally fine. I'm well. So What was I saying? Yeah. So I was 14, just got my period, and my mother goes to me, "You can get pregnant, you know?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, I know." I didn't know shit. I didn't know what she was talking about. Stop getting pregnant. That's all she said, and that was it. She just walked away. And I was like, "Yeah, man, I know." I didn't know anything. What are you talking about? What do you mean I can get pregnant because I'm bleeding? What that mean? I don't understand. So I was completely and utterly clueless throughout my high school journey. I didn't know anything about sex, nothing at all. Like, made it just lost. And I just can't, for the life of me, understand why they think or how they think we would come to this. How would we know how to navigate this space? How would we be able to move and court and then get married? Because everybody wants to get married. Everybody say, "Oh, you should get married." Like now my mother's saying to me, "Oh, so when you get find a man, when you get find a husband," and I'm like, "Lady, you didn't even talk about sex. What you coming at me for?"
Because, you know why they bring that up? Because they want baby.
Exactly. Yeah, you didn't talk to me about how to have the baby.
Right. All of a sudden they forget that they taught you not to look for man, you know, study a book.
Exactly.
Ting. And then all of a sudden when you're studying a book and you're doing whatever you're passionate about and you're focused on your career and you're, you know, they're like, "Where's the baby? Where's the man? What do you mean? What baby? What man?"
We weren't taught anything. We weren't taught how to court, how to date, how to even have a conversation with the opposite sex. Nothing. The most I got out of any type of sex education, just sitting around on a tree at lunchtime chatting with my friends, because it's very fun to talk about. It's so much fun to talk about sex. Yeah. Like, "Oh, so-and-so did do it with a boy the other day, and she left the house and couldn't walk, and this, that, the third, and he beat it up, and he did this, and he did that,
Yeah, because
it was always so fun to talk about. Mm-hmm.
When you're at that age, that's how you learn. You kind of figure it out, and then you talk to your friends. You're like, "Okay, this was my experience. What was your experience?" Or like, "How far have you gotten?"
Yeah.
Like, "I did this, but I didn't do that." Yeah. Like, "What was that like for you?" Like, you know, like, that's how I learned. Aside from me personally, I just Googled it. Like, when I started, like, later on in high school, when I started feeling like, you know, I'm coming up on 18, I haven't had sex yet. I feel like I should just do it before I turn 18,
and then all this
pressure. There's this pressure. And there was no actual pressure from my friends. Like, my friends weren't, at the time, they weren't really out there like that. Like, I think maybe one of my close friends had sex, and I was like, damn, I feel like I'm missing out. I feel like I'm you know, because I've been talking to guys before, but I think I had never really, I just wasn't interested. I wasn't.
Me either. I was prepared for that.
Do all of that.
Nah.
Yeah. So I mean, what I had ended up deciding for myself was I'm gonna just wait till I'm in a relationship, because I had been taught the abstaining thing. I had an ex who is now a friend actually remind me that I had at some point said that I was gonna wait till marriage. I don't remember that. Okay.
Yeah.
She was like, "Yeah, you remember when you said this?" I was like,
nah.
When did I say that? I mean, it sounds like something I would say at that time, because at that time that was before I came back the second time, because I had come back to visit, and that was when I met that guy, and then you know, whatever. That was my first relationship, was an online long distance Skype relationship. Okay,
I see.
So I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah,
I was just talking. I'm like, I just want to have conversations.
Yeah,
with you guys. You guys are so interesting.
Yeah, I remember the first time. I remember the first time I spoke about oral sex. I was at church. It was after church.
What?
And me and my brethren them sit round in a circle, and we're just talking, having a casual conversation. And one of them go, "So Shanice, how do you feel about oral sex?" Me never have a clue what they were talking about. I had no idea what oral sex was. I thought oral sex was just talking about sex. So I said to him, say, "Oh, you know, it's cool. Like, it's fine. Like, yeah, man." I hadn't the foggiest clue. I had no idea. I was so clueless. I was not prepared for that conversation, prepared for anything sexually at all. Males had probably the worst experience, because they feel it the most, because at the time when I was in school, if you're not having sex, then you're gay. That's immediate. That's the immediate thing. Like, oh, if you're not fuck girl and bust gun, then you're gay. That's it. That was the whole thing. or you're not a bad man or whatever. So they're pressured into it because God forbid you decide not to do anything. Oh, you love man. And I'm like, what? Why? And it's so unfortunate.
And it's ironic too, considering how homophobic a society Jamaica is.
Exactly.
Specifically, they project that toxic masculinity onto boys at such a young age.
Yeah.
It's so heartbreaking to see. I hate it.
100%. Which is why I'm like, men get such bad PR already on internet. Like, I'm not trying to add to that, honestly, because looking at it and thinking about how toxic masculinity is introduced from such a young age, I'm like, they have it hard enough. I'm not trying to add to it. Like, I'm not here for that. I actually feel bad for them. Call me, pick me all you want. They have it hard out here. You see me? Because if you don't do this, then you're gay. If you do this, then you're gay. Da, 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 da. It's always the same take. Like, and then they just whole era now about, sassy men this and sassy men that. I'm just
I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah.
Hello? Can we talk about it? Because
yes, please.
Me personally, I don't like this new wave of sassy men. Men used to go to war. Men used to write love letters and like court women. Like, where did that go?
I don't know.
Uncles, like my grand uncle, who was married to my grandmother's sister, talked to me about how he courted her and how he would like get on his bike and travel an hour to go see her at where she works at the school because she was a teacher. I said, what? Like, the first time you told me that story, I was in shambles. I was like, wow, do you know that? No, like, even if I received a love letter right now, I would be like, what is happening? Like,
the shock that would ensue.
I would immediately send pictures to my friends. I'd be like, hello, I don't know what is happening. Where are the cameras? Is this a prank? Like, what is happening in a real life? Because this doesn't happen. Now it's in your DMs. It's dating apps. It's
co-link, no?
And I don't even like dating apps.
Yeah, me either. I
Come
prefer
over.
organic
Let's
relationships.
Smoke and hard. No, take me on a date. Hello? I feel like I only just started correctly dating in the last year, I feel.
Yeah, I actually just had a conversation about dating culture, and we don't really have one in the Caribbean. Dating takes place after the fact, after you're already in a relationship, which doesn't make no damn sense. What do you mean? People are forgetting that dating means to get to know somebody, not get to know them in your bed and then decide to wife them up and then take them out to dinner. No, you're doing it backwards, my G. You're doing it backwards. You need to get to know this lady first before you jump into bed with her, and then you wife her up. Like, come on. They're not.
And that's how we can circle back to education. Like, people aren't taught
exactly how to date, how to court
women, and
right. How to communicate, how to have actual conversation.
Be in touch with their feelings.
Right.
Know how you're feeling, be able to communicate that.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And honestly, our education system really has failed us in that regard because we weren't taught anything. We were taught about abstinence and whatever, but what are we abstaining from? Because there wasn't much about in my school, the only thing that they were teaching about abstinence was that, you don't get pregnant. The girls shouldn't get pregnant. They're not talking about STDs. They're not talking about STIs. They're not talking about HIV and AIDS. We're not talking about that. You need to practice safe sex. And then that's just the physical. We're forgetting about the emotional and spiritual side. Because when you do have sex with somebody, you're exchanging something. You're leaving a part of yourself with them forever. You're literally never getting it back. And once that happens, it affects you emotionally and spiritually. And then you're walking around with Tom, Dick, and Harry on you because they've transferred something to, and then you're just like, Jano, what's wrong with me? You OT man, whatever. Like, we're forgetting that there's so much more than just the physical here when you do engage in coitus. Why are we not talking about this enough? I don't understand.
Every time you say coitus, every time.
Everybody is focused on the wrong thing. And then, mind you, sex has become completely independent of marriage in modern society, completely independent of love. Okay, fine. If we're now independent of marriage and love and we're just engaging in sex, then now there's this whole hookup culture, casual sex vibe. Everybody's like doing the do for doing the do sake.
Situationship.
So then when you're ready to get in a relationship, what you don't have no foundation, you don't have nothing. You don't know how to even do that because you haven't exercised the emotional muscles, your communication skills. You haven't worked on any of those things. So what are you expecting? You want to then get married and have kids, yet you don't know how to talk about your feelings? You must be joking. You must be joking.
Hey, yo. I feel kind of called out because I feel I didn't. Okay. In the last year that I said that I've started working on, literally the start of that, I want to say January of 2023, in my personal experience, I went through a bit of a reckoning. Okay, because I had a situationship that ended and it tore me up emotionally.
Right.
So January of 2023, I said I had gone back. I had a little fling with a different ex, and then when he left, I was like, "All right, I need to get my shit together." Because before, like the when I made that decision to go back to a different ex and just like hook up with him, and then it was a situation where we only hook up when both of us are in the same country.
Okay.
And because we both move around a lot, we've been in this toxic, sometimes we're on, sometimes we're off.
Right, this kind of cycle.
Just based on our geographical locations. And it was never, things didn't end on a bad note. So I was okay with going back to that familiar safe space.
Right, yeah.
But that was essentially a situationship. I've spoken about this specific situation with my friends multiple times from different angles. And when he left that last time, I was like, I need to get my shit together. Because before he came back to Jamaica, I had been seeing a girl. And when I heard that this man was flying in, my brain just did something. And I completely ghosted that girl.
Oh, damn.
I did end up apologizing and communicating that with her maybe 2 months later, but because the guilt was eating at me, I was like, man, like, sweet girl, she did not deserve that.
Right.
I have no problem breaking a man's heart, but a woman, I'm like, you don't deserve that shit. Like, I really want to talk to you and just like let you know where my head is at. Even if we don't speak again or if we don't continue anything, like that's fine. I just want to let you know where I'm at so that everything is fine. But my point is, at that point, I decided to intentionally abstain from sex for a period of time and use that time to really figure out what I want and how I'm going to get it. Because when I did end up speaking to the girl, it's all going to come back and make a point. She, after I explained everything, she was like, you could have just said that.
Yeah.
And then I had a conversation with a different friend about something else, and it was the same response. You could have just said that. And I was like, damn, do I not know how to communicate? Like I had to really
take a step back and
with myself
and
evaluate, because up until that point I was out there just kind of vibing without cause, just kind of lost and interacting with people that I was attracted to, but not knowing how to set boundaries for myself or how to communicate what I wanted or what I even wanted. I didn't know what I wanted. The whole reason that situation that mashed me up happened was because I did not know what I wanted. And when I did figure out what I wanted, I was too happy to just be like, it'd be so much easier if I didn't communicate this, because then that might mess everything up. Everything that I saw as a good thing going, I'm like, we already have a little ritual here. Like, I'm good with things staying the way they are. And then I went to Belize and the man was like, actually, I don't want to be with you. And I was like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And I'm not dumb, right? I'm like, I know you hooked up with somebody else. Like, I'm a Jamaican man. We're not in a relationship. I left for 3 weeks, come back and my spot is gone.
Time out. Wait, pause. No. Oh my gosh, I hate that. Jamaican men are something else, Like them need something.
Can I tell you a secret?
Down a little bit. Yeah. Me and everybody else.
All right, let me tell you a secret. The thing is, that guy, this guy.
I knew it. I know I hate him. I don't hate you, but like that, you dirty boy. You dirty boy. I hope you're listening. You dirty boy.
And you know what? Let me tell you something. I don't even want to. We're not calling any names, but you know yourself.
You know yourself. Sure.
And what I will say is that it took me some time to really, and it was hard. It was hard to get over it because he joined my friend group. He's now a part of like the people that I would go and call my friends, who are my friends. Let me not sound like
no worries.
You know, the people who are my friends are now also his friends.
Yeah.
So, and in a genuine way, like they actually each other, they fuck with each other. So it took me I had to kind of separate myself physically, and then the other stuff happened with the girl, and then the other ex come back, and then it just all compounded. It was too much for me. I was like, I need to actually take a beat, just be by myself, because I feel like I'm seeing people back to back, and I'm not fully, like, I had gotten over him by that point, by January last year, but I was also like, I don't feel, okay, the ending of everything made me realize that I am in fact ready for a relationship, but I wasn't ready at that time in the sense of knowing how to find what I wanted.
Okay.
Because when that situationship started, I was in a place where I was like, yeah, this can be casual. Like, I'm not looking for anything. You know, you just seem like a cool dude.
Yeah.
To spend time with sometimes.
Right.
I genuinely was not in a place to be in a relationship, but then I went and caught feelings accidentally. I woke up one day and was like, wait a minute.
Damn.
Wait a minute. And yeah, that was not on my bingo card. That was not on my bingo card at all.
Yeah.
And I actually just spoke to one of our mutual friends about this too the other day. Like, I put down a piece of balling that I am embarrassed. I am embarrassed.
Jano.
To say that even happened. Like, my friends were there when I came back to leave. Like, they were all like, what? Like, what do you mean things are what? Everybody's confused. I'm like, you're confused. I'm confused.
We're all confused.
I don't know. We're all confused. I don't know. But when I ended up leaving Jamaica, I actually pulled him aside and I thanked him, because I was like, you were a catalyst in my life that was actually very much needed, because I wouldn't be where I am right now mentally, emotionally, spiritually, if all of that hadn't happened and I had to do that work on myself. Like, now I look back and I'm like, damn, I can't believe I put myself through all that. Like,
girl, same. I think about that often. I'm just like, I understand that sometimes bad things have to happen for you to learn and grow, for good things to then come. But boy, when you take a stock of what's happened, you're just like, good gracious God, I couldn't get some other type of lesson. Why would I ever go through this? Like, my ball enough tears, you know? But over man, over man. Can you imagine? Fam, that's not.
And then you know why that come up? I just ended a relationship in January, and I didn't even cry over the man like the way I cry over that situation.
Yeah.
I did not, but like, I cried for like a couple of days, and then I found out more information, and then I was pissed off, and I was just like, you know what? This has no.
Yeah.
I realized the more I go through things like that, the quicker I can process my emotions. Like, I go through the stages of grief faster. I'm like, oh, you're just a piece of shit. Like, this has nothing to do with me. Like, I remove myself from the, like, depending on the circumstances and how things end, it's like, okay, maybe I played a part in this, or no, this time this was not me at all. Like, this was this was something else entirely.
And it's so funny how we just tend to, like, walking around in our own toxic cycles in our heads about things and not realize how it affects the people around us. Like, we're not realizing how it affects our family or close friends, and even the other person that we're in a relationship with or situation or whatever ship with. So honestly, we all need some healing, and we all need to take some time to be by ourselves and to learn what we actually want in a relationship. Like, what do we want from this person in front of us? And whatever it is, let it be known. If it's just sex, it's just sex. You know, that's cool. You know, you can't tell the person. And if they're not game, cool, move on. If you want a relationship,
or if one of you changes your mind halfway,
exactly, let them know. Like, that's perfectly fine. You can't change your mind.
The common denominator in all of this is communication. Knowing what you want.
100%. So, within our Caribbean household, right? Growing up, you are kind of expected to like the opposite sex. Like, you're expected to be heterosexual. There's no question about it. You are never. It's no question that you're gonna marry a man or you're gonna marry a woman. It's just expected, right? So there you decide to deviate. Them say, what you do? What you do? What you mean by that? And then if you give off any signs of queerness, everybody's like, no, cut that shit. Like, they're running you to the opposite sex. There's no question about it. And I'm just like, who are you? How dare you? Granted, you're my parents and you're my family members and whatever, but how dare you tell me how to live my life? How dare you tell me who I cannot love? And that's how it is in the Caribbean, which is why we've had such a tussle when it comes to, like, what you may call it, the LGBTQ plus community, and accepting them for who they are. But honestly, it is not your job to judge or to tell them who and who they can and cannot date. If your daughter wanted another girl, that's her business. Allow her to figure it out. If your son wanted another man, allow him to figure it out. I can't understand. I can't begin to understand how we become. Well, I understand we're conservative and believe in God, But still, we should allow people grace and allow people to figure it out for themselves and get where they need to go for themselves. It's not up to us.
Yeah. So, I don't know how we can move forward as a people without that.
Yeah, and also I was gonna say we probably should be talking about that in schools as well. I think I did hear something about them introducing it within school, but then again, we don't even have a sex education curricula. Anyway, we don't have no syllabus for it.
Start with.
Exactly. So before we even get there,
we have to have a foundation.
Exactly. We need something. I remember seeing something in the paper about that, and I'm like, but we never have nothing we don't have no blueprint. We don't have nothing to work with in the first place. So let's establish that first, and then we can introduce the other things. But anyway, continue with this.
I didn't have anything. I'm trying to think.
Oh no, I interrupted you.
I must have lost my train of thought. Sorry, I don't know. Love. I have a lot of queer friends, which is part of why when you reached out to me, I was like, oh my God, I love that we're going to talk about this.
Yeah.
Because I love this conversation. I have friends who are trans. I have friends who are non-binary, friends who are gay, friends who are bi, cross-spectrum, friends who are lesbian, friends who are gay, just 90%. And you know what? At least in my household, my parents, I've known that I was bi since I was 18. And I remember when COVID hit, we were having dinner and my mom made a comment about how, mind you, both of my parents are from Belize, but we've spent majority of our time in Jamaica and then Trinidad, back in Jamaica and then back to Belize. My mom says, as I'm scooping a spoonful or a forkful of whatever into my mouth, she's like, hi, I noticed how, like, most of your friends are gay. What's that about? I think I remember putting the food in my mouth and allowing myself to chew just to buy myself time to think. And then when I swallowed, I said, Mom, but what does that have to do with anything? Like, I just completely dismissed it. I was like, I've decided not to share anything with you.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah. I said, you know what? This is not the time for this conversation, actually. Because Mom clocks everything. Yeah. Like, my dad likes to play oblivious. But
Mom's be knowing. Mom's be knowing. Yeah.
Yeah, and she doesn't judge. She's not like, my mom grew, like, I was about to say she grew up, but my mom spent summers at Edna in those dance programs. So she herself has a lot of gay friends. So I've always known that she's like cool with gay people. But I was like, I don't know if that extends to me. Right. So I'm just gonna keep that to myself.
Yeah.
And then I came out to her last summer because I had gone to my first queer party in Jamaica. Yes, there are queer parties in Jamaica. You just have to know where to look, where to find them.
Yeah.
And they be lit. Okay, I had so much fun last summer.
There's a reason why they're so exclusive, because you lot won't leave these people alone.
Exactly. Okay. Secret locations until they own secret everything, because they know.
Yeah.
We know our own people.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had gone to my first one or two queer events. I had dyed my hair pink. It was a time. Okay. I was fully embodying the vibe. And I made that trip to Belize, and I thing about me is I realized in the last year that I'm kind of on the spectrum. So when I get animated about things and I start talking about something that I'm passionate about, I can't stop.
You're fine.
So, no, well, I say that in context of, so my mom has heard me talk about like all kinds of things my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always asked her questions about gay people, like, what does gay mean? I vaguely remember asking her when I was like 9 or 10, like, if I liked a girl, like, would you still love me?
Interesting. What'd you say?
She said, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I still like that I didn't remember that when I was just remembering myself and who I am and what I like.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've liked girls my whole life, but it was something that was repressed for so long because of all of our history of
homophobia.
Just homophobia and prejudices and just internalized homophobia, all of that. Like,
oh my God. You're preaching it right now. The internal homophobia is real. Like,
I would judge myself, and then I remember me and my best friend came out to each other in class. And
Aww.
That was like the moment that I realized. She was like, I think I'm bi. And I was like, girl, me too. I'll never forget that. I was like, damn, like, this is why we're besties, you know? But I had kept that in for years until I was comfortable to say that to my mom. Because I was like, me and my mom are tight. So it felt like we could talk about anything except this. And that always hurt me.
Right. Okay.
I'm like, man, I feel like I should be able to come to my mom about certain things, even if I'm not. Obviously, I'm not going to give her the nitty gritty.
Right.
We keep things PG in this house. Right. We don't need the play by play. I need a little guidance. Okay, this adulting thing is hard.
Exactly. Damn.
And when what she told me when I came out to her,
what?
She was like, just continue to take your time and get to know people because people change.
Oh, that's so nice.
I was like, oh.
Shout out to mom real quick. Shout out to mom.
Big up mommy anywhere she did.
Right? Oh my gosh. I love it when parents are so supportive because that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Support your kids, guide your kids, teach them things, let them know before the world teach them. Because the world going to teach them some very skewed perceptions and that's not reality. Yeah. So shout out to the supportive parents every time.
Exactly. I asked her if I should tell dad. She said, nope. I said, okay. Good talk. Good talk.
Yeah. Man, I don't know how we're gonna move forward. I don't know how. Well, I know for sure we definitely need to start with education. We need to start at the source.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, we need to start at the source because we really don't have any type of syllabus or curriculum or anything that covers sex education in its entirety to be able to teach kids adequately about sex and promoting safe sex and all that, and dating, courting, and all that comes with. Because you can't expect them to then go out in society and have relationships with people confidently and successfully. They have no foundation. They have nothing to work with. All they have is gossip and what the social media is saying currently. What we're going to do with that, and we all know that all those things are skewed perceptions or just personal perceptions and personal beliefs and notions, and it's all very toxic and it doesn't work. So we really need to start at the source, at the core. And start from primary education too, like maybe from like grade 6, grade 5, grade 6. Just to let them know this is the reproductive system. This is what the male sex organ looks like. This is what the female sex organ looks like. And then we start there. Then in grade 7, we can say, all right, cool. 7 to 11, we can say, all right, cool. So this is what sex actually is. This is how kids are actually created, And we get deep into it. Okay, this is how you date somebody. This is how you court somebody. Teach them that. Teach them morals and values and goals. And then we can talk about
consent.
And consent. Oh my God, consent. Screaming from the rooftop. Consent. People. Not coercion. Not none of that bullshit. Consent. Actual consent. Otherwise.
Enthusiastic.
Exactly. Enthusiastic. She must be excited to get in the room with you. You must be excited to get in the room with her. And nothing less.
Exactly. No, like consent, and also you have to address all of those things that you just mentioned before we broach the topic of gender.
Yeah.
Because you have to talk about gender if you want to talk about sexuality and trans and non-binary people. That is critical.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of ignorance around. Oh my God, I'm getting chills all over my body. Mhm.
We're here. I'm here. This is a safe space.
Yeah, this is a topic that I'm very passionate about.
Yeah.
I care about my friends so deeply,
Mm-hmm.
and I see how I've seen different people online, different queer people broach the subject of education differently.
Mm-hmm.
There was this, I think they're a trans man, but then I was seeing their ex from before they transitioned, and it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was like, listen, I don't know you, so
Yeah.
like, what is the issue? I'm confused. But yeah, but the point is, this person who I unfollowed, it had studied gender studies, and they would educate people on their profile about sex, gender, trans, like just educating the masses about their experience and about trans people.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. I love that there are people who are willing to educate. You just have to find those people and find those communities that are online and they post things that are educated. I repost those.
Mm-hmm.
So if you follow me, you might see that those are the kinds of things that I would repost. Just the other day, I made a post about how the word transgender is an adjective.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an adjective.
Yeah.
Or no, it's an adjective, not a noun. There we go.
Okay.
Lord. Confusing myself about to confuse myself. So there are places you just have to find the information once you're interested in knowing about kinds of things, because there's a lot of ignorance in Belize. I've barely seen any communities like that. I could spot a queer person from a mile away, even though technically you're not supposed to judge, you're not supposed to, but within the community, like, we judge. I think I can say that as a fact. We judge. I remember I've been clocked as a bi girl without having to say or do anything, just based on how I present myself, how I dress. Like, people have come to me and been like, "You're bi." I'm like, oh, okay. Not you clocking me,
right? Like, do I have a rainbow flag like in my hair? What's going on?
I have a pride ring, but that's about it. Like, you gotta get close to me to see it. I had somebody come up to me at UE, one of my close friends now. One of her first, her friend was in my group. So we were all, I was talking to my group member.
Mm-hmm.
And then after we finished talking about whatever group assignment, she was like, "Are you?" And I was like, "Yeah, but how did you know that?"
Exactly. Mind your business.
What? Yeah, even men clock it. Like, guys that I've talked to, I would tell them straight up off the bat, because I don't want any transphobia, homophobia around me.
Right.
I just mentioned all of my friends are queer. If you come around me, you got to be comfortable with queerness. Otherwise, you're getting kicked to the curb quick and fast. So I would say that. And then there have been a couple times where guys are like, "Oh, like, I'm not surprised," or, "Oh, I can kind of tell." And these are Jamaican guys too. So I'm like, what is it that gives?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I dress differently every day. Like, it really depends on how I wake how I wake up feeling.
Yeah.
How much I want to show, or how I feel. Like, if I feel more masculine today, if I feel more feminine tomorrow, I would dress according to that. So I also identify as gender fluid, but I don't push that because I am mostly femme presenting. So I don't care if you, she, her. I am she, her, but I am also they, them. But I don't care if you don't use the they, them at all. And my relationship with my gender, gender and sexuality is also inherently linked, to me, in my experience, to my Blackness. Because I could never not be a Black woman, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I move through this world, and that is how people see me, regardless of how I am dressed.
Right. Yeah.
So for me, it's more of an internal, this is how I feel, and this is my identity that I know for myself, and I don't need anybody else to validate that.
Yeah.
But that's my singular experience. Someone else who is gender fluid or non-binary or even trans might be like, "Hey, please only use they, them pronouns," and people struggle with that. They're like, "What do you mean? You're not plural. True. Are you two people?"
Very true. And again, in the Caribbean, because we are so deeply and historically homophobic, we just don't understand that, nor do we have the grace to give anybody to be able, we're not open-minded people. to that.
Yeah, we're not.
I don't
To that degree,
actually
we're not.
probably not open-minded at all. Because remember, it took so long. I remember when cunnilingus just became a thing. Everyone's like, no, bobcat thing around here. Da, da, da. Man, enough of that.
You know what?
And I'm like...
You know what I tell people?
Yeah.
Because, listen, Jamaican men will swear down.
Swear upon them mother life.
Okay? But let me tell you something. Let me tell your viewers something, okay? That is propaganda.
Exactly.
Okay, that is
propaganda. Lies. Lie the boy them I tell.
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them eat the cat, okay? All of them eat the cat.
Oh,
so, if your man is telling you, or if you're talking to someone and they say, "Oh, I don't,"
lies.
maybe believe them because if they're saying it, they probably mean it. But if they're not saying anything,
right?
Listen, you're good, girl. You're good.
Yeah. So them. I don't know. I guess we could just give it time because I mean we're getting older and we're becoming the new adults now. So I guess we have to then introduce it to the younger generation that this is a reality now. This is your future reality that you're gonna engage more people that are gender fluid and that are bisexual, lesbian, gay, this, that, third, whatever. And it's okay. It's their right. If that's not your thing, that's cool too. That's cool. If that's not your thing, cool. But respect the person in front of you. You see me? Give them the same grace, give them the same love. They don't deserve anything less. Everybody deserves common decency and respect. You owe the person that much. That's the baseline. That's the foundation. You're not into it? Cool. Stick to your own community.
Yeah.
But be respectful to the other people, to the people around you because they're your peers, they're your brothers and sisters. We need each other. We are literally social creatures. We need each other. We can't do without one another. So mind your business. At the end of the day, that is my 2 cents. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
I agree. And I think our generation cares less based on what I've seen. Like we will be the generation that changes things.
For sure. Yeah.
It's our parents' generation and then the generations above that are keeping this.
The iron fist has an iron fist on us. Judge.
Oh, let us go.
Exactly. Look at my shirt. Look at my shirt. Let me live. Yeah. I really, really hope that we do work to change things and change what we've known as social norms and create new norms. Because I mean, those things are tradition, but we can change it. We can make our own traditions. We can do something different. Every day that we're alive, we have an opportunity to change and to do something better for the society and for people around us. Because we are society. You and me talking, having a conversation here, we are society. So it's up to us to make the changes and to do better for the next generation and other generations to come.
And we're going to be birthing the next generation.
Exactly. We're literally birthing the next generation. So it's very much up to us because it really starts at home. It starts at home. It starts at school, in early childhood, early education. So, yeah, man. That's all, man. Any last words?
No, I feel like we talked about everything.
Yeah. We covered it. So you lot better get on board or we're gonna have problems.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to fight you outside. Meet me outside. Catch me outside. How about that? Me and my squad.
Right?
Because you know what? Actually, I just remembered something. Jamaica's so homophobic, and I've only had one personal experience with homophobia being directed at me. But as a group, when me and my crew go out, nobody
steps to you. Yeah. You're stronger in numbers,
so it's like, yeah. Listen, no, but
you really are.
Stand on business if you're bad.
Exactly. Exactly. Say it with your chest. Say it with your chest or don't say nothing at all.
Right. Correct.
Yeah. Boy, I just hope we can do the work to make the society that we live in a better place for us. Because that's what we're here. That's what we're here for.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
For myself and my future kids.
100%.
The future kids of my friends.
Exactly. Because we all deserve to live in a place where we want to be. So
exactly.
Yeah.
The world is already burning up, climate change, all these things.
Like we don't need no more.
Our communities need to be solid. Yeah.
We don't need no more struggle. We don't need no more stress. But anyway, my side, thank you so much for listening. And remember, catch the Garifuna Sistas podcast. They're in our rebranding now. They're in our little hiatus. But they will be back. So catch the Garifuna Sistas podcast on Instagram. Be sure to follow them and keep up to date with them. Thank you so much for joining me, Kyleigh. And as always, guys, big up yourself every time.